Hello again, my friends. This is Indian Story Read Along, where we read all kinds of stories that come from India or have Indian characters in them. And so today we're going to read a story from one of my Amar Chitra Katha books, and this is called Tales Told by Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna was a saint in the 1800s in what is now today known as Kolkata, up north in India. And so he was a modern day saint. He had a lot of students and he taught his students a lot of things, and he also told them stories just like this one to illustrate what he was teaching them. So this is called the 7 Jars of Gold. Once upon a time, there was once a barber who lived with his wife and children in a little house. He earned an honest livelihood. His children were healthy, and his wife was content with what he could provide. They were a happy, carefree family. You couldn't ask for anything more than this, but something's going to happen. One day, the king of the land summoned the barber to his palace. The king says, "I want you to work for me. I'll give you a bag of gold coins every month. Would that be enough?" And the barber says, "It would be more than enough, O Maharaj. You are most generous." The barber returned home full of joy. He's got it made now. And then he's dancing around. He tells his wife, "The king himself has employed me. I can now truly say that I'm the happiest man in the world." So now the barber's got it made. He's got a job with the king and he has a lot of gold coming to him every month. The barber served the king well, and the king in turn grew quite fond of the barber. So he's cutting his hair, and then the king is looking at himself in the mirror and he's thinking, "He's always smiling and cheerful. He brightens my day with his merry talk." Then one night, the barber happened to pass through a forest. It was a still, dark night. Suddenly, "Wait, O barber!" The barber stops dead in his tracks. Who is that? The voice says to him, "I am a yaksha, a spirit who lives in this tree. I want to give you 7 jars of gold. Will you accept them?" The barber hesitated for a moment, then, 7 jars of gold? Yes, I'll accept them willingly." And then the voice, the yaksha, says, "Then go home at once. You'll find them there." The barber ran home as fast as his legs could carry him, and there stood the 7 jars. His wife says, "Ah, you've come. I noticed these jars just now. How did they get here?" And then the barber says, "They have been given to me by a friend. Quick, let's see what's inside. Gold!" The barber and his wife uncovered all the jars. 7 jars of gold, he says, all full to the brim. "Not all," says his wife. "This one isn't full to the brim." Now you may think that this shouldn't matter. It's a ton of gold no matter what. And you're right, it shouldn't matter. But let's see what they're thinking about it now. And so now you can see that the barber is a little bit disappointed. He says, "It isn't, but my friend said," and then the wife wisely said, "It doesn't matter." But then the barber says, "It does. Bring me all the money you have." The barber took the money he had given his wife to run the home, exchanged it for gold coins, and emptied them into the 7th jar. "But," he says, "we need much more to fill it. Bring me that bag that has my savings." Now he's getting a little weird, if you notice. All the money the barber had saved over the years was also put into the jar. But to the barber's surprise, "What's wrong with this jar?" he says. "The level of gold is the same as before." And the first frown of unhappiness appeared on the barber's brow. Now he's just getting full on weird. He began to borrow money from his friends. He says, I'm running short of money this month. Could you lend me some? He's not running short of money at all. All he wants to do is fill this jar. And then a guy goes, well, what's the matter? I've never known you to borrow money before. Anyway, I'll lend you what I can spare. Then the barber went to the palace. He says, O king, my household expenses have gone up. If you would... And then the king says, I understand. Don't look so downcast. I'll give you 2 bags of gold from this month on. Now, you notice the king is very, very generous. He's not thinking twice about giving away whatever he has. He knows he's rich, so he's not keeping it to himself. That's very important to the story. The barber soon collected a big sum. As he was about to empty it into the jar, then the wife says, wait, don't put everything in. I need some money to buy groceries. And then the barber is just lost his mind. He goes, that can wait. I must fill this jar to the brim first. But still, the level of gold in the mysterious 7th jar remained the same as before. I won't give up, he shouts. Bring me all your jewelry. And then she says, oh no, not my jewelry too. The barber sold his wife's jewelry, but even the large amount he got for it was not enough for the 7th jar. The more it was fed, the greedier it seemed to become. And then the barber's thinking, this jar is driving me mad. Until I see it full, I will have no peace. And so, look at them. He's lost all his clothing. They're living like they don't have any money, even though they have 6 other jars that are full. It seems like he didn't even take any money out from those jars. And he's using up all of his pay from the king to fill up this jar that will never be filled. So, the child's asking for more food there. He says, I'm hungry, mother. Can I have some more? And the mom says, there isn't any left, my child. It's such a hard thing to tell your child. At night, the wife says to the husband, it's 2 in the morning and you're still not asleep. And the husband says, leave me alone. He's literally losing sleep over this 7th jar. And what is he thinking about? How to make more money. He's thinking, if I sell the cow, I'll get a good sum. The silver plates will also fetch a good price. I will also sell the... And so it went on. Every bit of money the barber could lay his hands on went into the jar. But still the same level, he says. Oh God, I am truly the unhappiest man in the world. All this time, the king had been noticing that the barber was no longer his old happy self. And the king is asking him, my good man, when I was giving you half of what I give you now, you were a cheerful and contented man. Now your face has a perpetual frown. Perpetual means going on forever. You seem to be miserable. Have you by any chance got the 7 jars? What? How did the king know this? And that's what the barber's asking. How do you know that I have them, Maharaj? And the king says, these signs of unhappiness and discontent that I see on your face are all signs of owning the 7 jars. One night in the forest, the yaksha offered me the jars of gold too. I asked him if the gold could be given away or had to be hoarded. That means kept at home. And then the barber says, what did he say? Nothing, said the king. He just ran away. He knew I had found him out. The yaksha is the cunning tempter of men. The 7th jar is the jar of desire. Its thirst for gold can never be quenched. And the barber puts his hand on his forehead and says, oh, what a fool I've been. The barber ran to the forest. Oh, yaksha, take back your jars, I beg you. I don't want them anymore. And luckily the yaksha is cool about it, and he knows he's been found out. And he says, all right, go home, for they have already vanished. When the barber reached home, he says, they are gone. What a great load has been taken off my chest. And then the wife is crying. She goes, but with the jar, all our savings, everything that we had has also gone. And he says to her, never mind, I'm still hale and hearty. Let us make a fresh start. Truly, there is nothing better than a simple life, a happy life. The end. So there's a saying, the earth has enough for everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. And so I don't know if this was just the barber or if this happens to everyone when they get that 7 jar. They just go crazy and they want to fill it. The wife certainly kept her head, but maybe this was all part of this curse that was from the yaksha. So we should also remember that once we have what we need, we should probably be more like the king, giving away everything that we can, that we don't need, and making other people's lives easier. Because this job is something that the barber still has. He can earn all that money back because of the king. So let's try to be more like him. So this was another story from Indian Story Read Along, and I had a lot of fun today. I hope that you'll join me again next time. We'll see you then.